For decades, the ultimate power was defined by the number of nuclear warheads a nation possessed. That era is over. Today, the true measure of a superpower is determined not by bombs, but by code. We are in an all-out existential race for artificial intelligence supremacy, and the stakes are higher than the Cold War ever dared to be. The country that achieves true AI mastery will possess the ultimate weapon: total, predictive dominance over warfare, finance, and global intelligence. And right now, the United States is terrifyingly close to losing that race to its primary rival, China. The current AI competition is a new kind of arms race fought with petabytes of data and algorithmic breakthroughs. On one side, you have the United States, brilliant, decentralized, driven by private companies like Google and OpenAI, but often fractured by political infighting and ethical concerns. On the other side, you have China, a centrally controlled, monolithic state pouring unprecedented resources into AI, driven by the explicit goal of becoming the world leader by 2030. Their strategic advantage is chillingly simple: data. In China, the government has unrestricted access to the data of over 1 billion people. This massive, clean, and centralized data pool allows their AI to learn and evolve at a pace the fragmented US system simply cannot match. While American companies worry about privacy regulations, Beijing is building an unconstrained engine of machine learning. This is a deliberate, strategic masterstroke that is giving them a terrifying lead in key areas, from predictive surveillance to autonomous weaponry. The consensus in the Pentagon is that AI supremacy is a permanent condition. The side that achieves it first will possess an insurmountable advantage. They will have the ability to predict market crashes, anticipate troop movements before they happen, and conduct cyber warfare with such precision that it could cripple an enemy's infrastructure instantly. This is the new technological red zone, and the chilling question facing Washington is, what happens the moment we realize the race is over, and the winner is Beijing? The realization that the AI race is lost doesn't come with a bang, it comes with a chilling silence. It begins not on a battlefield, but in the sterile, high-security command centers of the US military. The catalyst is a catastrophic, unexplainable failure of intelligence. A complex, high-stakes operation involving a US ally suddenly collapses. Every single move made by the American team, every countermeasure, every communication was anticipated by the adversary. It's a perfect counterintelligence sweep, executed without a single human error. The review is terrifying. Analysts discovered that the Chinese defense systems didn't just guess America's moves. Their AI models had run billions of simulations, predicting the US decision matrix with a near-perfect success rate. The US military's strategic planning, the core of American power, is suddenly rendered obsolete. The enemy's AI is operating 2 or 3 steps ahead, turning every US move into a predictable, counterable action. The intelligence community finally has to report the unthinkable to the White House. China has achieved true AI supremacy. The panic that grips Washington is unlike anything seen since the Cuban Missile Crisis. This isn't a temporary advantage. The very nature of AI learning means the lead is exponential and permanent. The US is facing a strategic humiliation with no military solution. The core dilemma becomes a conflict between American values and sheer survival. One faction demands a Manhattan Project for AI, a massive multi-trillion-dollar federal mandate to seize the data and talent from private companies like Google and Meta, forcing them to work solely for the national interest. But this proposal is met with fierce resistance from those who argue it would instantly shatter civil liberties and turn America into a digital authoritarian state, the very thing we are fighting against. This forces the US to focus defensively. Billions are immediately poured into developing AI walls, defensive algorithms designed to protect critical infrastructure, energy grids, and financial markets from Chinese cyber and financial attacks. But the most terrifying realization remains. For the first time in nearly a century, the US is fighting a war where the enemy always knows its next move before it is made. The US is trapped in a defensive posture, fighting a high-tech war of attrition against an adversary that has already won the future. The realization that China has achieved AI supremacy sends more than just a military shockwave. It triggers an irreversible shift in the global world order. This technological leap translates directly into real-world power across every domain. China's predictive AI now dominates global finance, allowing them to anticipate market movements, manipulate resource prices, and execute strategic investments with near-perfect timing. They effectively control global economic leverage, winning the digital currency war without firing a shot. In diplomatic negotiations, China is always 2 steps ahead, knowing the bottom line and the internal political pressures of their rivals before the talks even begin. The US is no longer fighting a peer, it's fighting an omniscient competitor. But the most insidious consequence is the export of digital authoritarianism. China doesn't just keep its AI for itself. It actively sells its surveillance systems, smart city technology, and social credit models to allied nations across the globe. This creates a powerful network of countries that are financially dependent on China and ideologically compliant. With its vision of governance, a global digital bloc that functions outside of Western democratic norms, the US suddenly finds itself isolated, losing not just the technology race, but the ideological war for the future of the internet and human governance. The US response is forced into a desperate new arms race, a battle to build a counter-AI. The American government must invest monumental resources, but it must do so while adhering to fundamental democratic values, preserving privacy, ensuring transparency, and protecting civil liberties. This ethical constraint, while vital, slows the US down, ensuring that the technology gap remains a permanent, terrifying reality. The battle is no longer for first place. It's a fight for the soul of the digital future, a desperate attempt to prove that democracy can survive an era of hyper-efficient AI dominance. In the end, this red zone scenario delivers a chilling final lesson. The 21st century battle for global supremacy was not won by the nation with the most oil or the largest navy. It was won by the nation that cracked the code first. The true loss for America is not just military capability, but the loss of its future potential and the diminishing influence of democratic values on the global stage. The world has fundamentally changed, and the dominance of the digital machine is absolute.